Hey,
Hey, how you doing?
I'm good. How are you?
Doing pretty good. Tired. Work. You doing all
Yes.
right?
I'm good. You worked hard today?
Yeah. It's just stowing, but yeah, it's more mental. It's not no physical hard work, but
hmm
dealing with people's drama every single day and their energy is a lot of practice. And crazy how like even your local hometown folk won't support you.
Well, I don't, I don't put any of this on Facebook. So,
And I know, and you
just,
don't promote because, like, I was talking to my next door neighbor, Mr. John. He's like, "Oh yeah, I know Diane. Yeah, absolutely." So I mean, yeah, I mean, you're doing wonderful work, and like what you're doing is it's brave. You know what I'm saying? Like it really is brave because you for me, I did it in the dark. You know what I'm saying? I did it by myself. People thought I was crazy, that I was losing my mind, and everything. You know what I'm saying? Like there's so many people struggling with the same things that you know what I'm saying because I was telling the girl at work today. I was like, it scares me to even put it out there.
okay.
Like even though
Yeah.
even though we I believe it. Like
hmm
when you put it out there for the world, I'm cautious on the way that I post on Facebook and just because I know my dad is my friend and my mom my friend, and they can take a break from me or whatever they need to do, but
Yeah.
it is a very brave thing, and you do need to promote yourself more because, and I tell people all the time, don't ever give your power. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
And a lot of time, especially in the small town where we come from, that's all we got. You know what I'm saying? Like, if they won't support us, they're like, man, and I always think of that the scripture in the Bible that it said, like a prophet is never,
Without honor.
ever going to be received in their
Yeah.
home.
Absolutely.
It's a huge thing.
Yeah. It's very true.
And that's where you're going to get all of your scoring. But it's also where you plant those seeds at because the same thing that you're going through, somebody else is about to go through the
Yeah.
same.
And that's the only reason I do it. And I appreciate you. I appreciate you, for saying I'm brave or whatever. I just, you know, when I was a Christian, I was ministering. So this is just I'm just doing the same thing basically. That's just who I am.
Chosen. No, like you're chosen. Like you try to fit into a box, every box that could possibly be fit into, and now you're you.
Yeah.
Like, um, when I saw you at the gala, like that was I saw you. You know what I'm saying? Like your energy preceded yourself, and like he was like, "You really want me to park right? Here? Absolutely. This is
Yeah.
what, yeah, absolutely." Um, and I didn't know that this is the job. Like, for real, I thought you was right back in like you're in the gospel. Like, the last I know you was like you and your husband was doing like rap and singing and stuff, right? So like that was the last time. So when you said, I was like, wait a second, she's one of the weird ones now. Huh? Okay, all right, there we go. And that's what I say. And if you're, I pray to God everybody get weird. I mean, really, because the hardest thing is to try to step your feet into someone else's shoes. Like it's never gonna be the same for them. Like no matter what you try to fit into, it's not gonna work. And like when I dress the way that I dress, like I wear I buy pants from a thrift store in the wintertime and I cut them off during the summertime and wear long shorts.
Mhm.
That's me. Like that you can't go to the store and buy what I look like. But then there's also this side of me that was just like my dad. You know
Yeah.
what I'm saying? And it's just what's comfortable. Like, I have no purse right here, so I like wear a bib over. I'm from the country, so I don't try to put like any kind of culture on top of me that I'm not. Like, I'm
Mhm.
comfortable being straight from Harrisburg, Kentucky, and things that probably could have gotten to me quicker. And if I was in a bigger city around more people of my color, people of like mindedness, even not even really a race thing, but just
Yeah.
like minded people, because we didn't have that. It was black and white where we come from.
Mhm.
There was a, and then, when it got older, you had like grunge and hippie people and things of that nature. And I find myself more comfortable around what would be considered hippie people than anybody, because they're the outcasts. They're the
Yep.
people who are the lower level of society. Those are the ones that would have had leprosy. Those are the ones that wouldn't have been allowed in the temple or allowed into the city. That would have been at the gates. And um, my background with Christianity, that says where Jesus would have been there.
Mhm.
That's who he was hanging out with, was them cats. And I know
Yeah.
why, because like I had to go find myself, and it wasn't with everybody that I knew. It wasn't with people of my color. It wasn't people of my background. It wasn't with anything that I knew. I had to go, and that's where I had to find myself. And
Yeah.
what I had to do externally, I had to do internally as well. I had to get away from everything. It's like
Mhm.
I'm a whole lot of hillbilly with a whole lot of Wu Tang,
Yeah.
and this is what that looks like. And that's okay. So I don't have to be from California and like the Grateful Dead, or be from New York and like Wu Tang Clan. I'm right in Harrisburg, Kentucky, and who we are still as a voice.
Mhm.
Like we're probably the most um, hidden culture of any other people, because Kentucky didn't have many slaves.
Mhm.
So like we all just stop here. No, like there's indigenous black people in Kentucky that were here before Columbus ever came.
Yeah.
Those things are documented. mean, Even to one of my best friends, Derek Odom, his family was the first family that opened up Mammoth Cave. They were
Really.
the original people who went. Like, our history is rich in this area, and his family were slaves. But all of this is documented stuff, and he can tell you a lot more about that. And he is a good person that you should probably meet one day. He's a great
Yeah.
musician as well. Um,
Yeah. I'm
but
sure my son would love to talk to him. He's really wanting to learn more about our history here. He
man,
would love to talk to him.
look his family up. Like, you can go to Mammoth Cave, and everything about any kind of person, like his family to this day still takes the tours of the people to Mammoth Cave.
Yeah.
It's like, it is rich history, and this guy is Native American. He's an indigenous to America. His mother, he's a card carrying Native American. So he has this great culture of both sides of America being torn away from one side of himself and then built
Mhm.
upon the other side, and it still exists today. And
Mhm.
probably one of my best friends that I've met in the last 15 years of my life. But it's okay. Like, he country is all get out. He lived in Lexington. He moved to Mount Vernon, like, of all places, like deep, deep, deep. It's just, and it's awesome because he's got a country accent. And when I met him, and I met him in through hippie avenues, and to see somebody that is exactly the same kind of person that I was. I don't have to see this guy for a year. Can see him, and poof, we pick right back up. And then there's never just a taking of your energy. There's always a reciprocity, and that's the kind of things that you look for. Like, at any given time, we can find ourselves alone. But if you're vocal, and if you speak yourself out there, people will attract to you. And this is one of those guys that really did. And we talked about Shantae. Like, me and Shantae, we converse daily. Um, because you have to have people around you to keep your head about you when you do step away from, any kind of rule. It doesn't matter if it was, I would have had the same feeling, because if my dad wasn't a pastor, just because of the legality of my dad and being a state trooper, like,
Yeah.
it would have still been something to step away from just the government. Like, that's a big deal for me too. Like, I'm not anti-government. Like, I think the government does help, but I think the less the government, the better off the people. You should strive
Mhm.
for what we have.
Right.
Whatever it is, whatever lifestyle that you want, that's what you get. And I think that's what I think that's what I do today is, I just, as long as my beliefs inside of me are true, Like at any given, I say that at any given time, one of these little kids, one of these little bad kids, I got a bunch of them running around, might run up here, daddy or something like that. I'm in my head, you probably see a box of cereal or something. So that way, we do
Yeah, I gotta try that hot sauce.
if you, when I tell you, it's hot. It's hot. Like it's good.
We can trade. You can bring me some hot sauce and I give you some herbs.
I will do that anytime you want because I can tell you too though. My hot sauce it should be considered an herb as well. It should be considered medicinal. Look it up. I mean, look up the effects of capsaicin on the brain.
Yeah,
Like
yeah.
I didn't.
I sell a cayenne tincture. I sell a
Yeah.
cayenne
So
tincture.
like
Yeah.
it's great for the body. It's great for the gut. I ferment my stuff. I've got a couple jars back here fermented, but all my stuff is fermented. So lactose bacillus bacteria. Um, so I think when one steps away from Christianity, one has to take their own health into their own hands. It comes hand in hand. It's almost like when there's one awakening, there's another awakening. And
Yeah.
um, I could talk about spirituality and fermented foods hand in hand. I've never ate cabbage a day in my life except in egg rolls until I fermented it. When I fermented it,
Yeah.
I did it like that sauerkraut. I was like, oh, okay. Yeah, okay. That's sour. And it's like, it's something that I could eat all the time. And
Yeah.
because it stunk. That's the only reason I didn't like it. But
I never ate cabbage either till now.
it's wild. When one steps away from any kind of religious bondage, like I don't care if it was Islam, whatever it is, you're going to have this awakening as far as your health and your diet is concerned. It's just it really is. It's inseparable graces is what I call it because once you take into consideration, oh wait a second, I'm actually doing something spiritually for myself. Oh wait a second, this is a temple for real, for real. Like seriously, this is the temple of God. Like when it's not words that's real. Um, I have little kids. I want to live here as long as I can to teach them as much as I can. And then I'm not trying to add in good years to the last end of my life where I'm walking around on a cane. Like if I'm going to be here another 10 years, I want to be healthy as I can be. I want to be walking around. Like my grandmother, she's going to be 90 years old. And I swear she gets around better than my mom.
Yeah.
And that's, if I get there, I mean, thank you. I mean, I had a reason to be here, but I'm not going to do anything in excess to take me out of here quicker as far as my health goes. And even giving my health over to um, somebody who went to school for 7 years. I mean, like, I'm not going to give over to a 35-year-old who don't really know much about life yet.
Yeah.
Just can't do
Not gonna do it.
I can't do it. And I might be wrong, but I think that we're moving to a place where if your mind's right, if you're vibrating on the right frequency, um, you won't have to get sick. Like you can rewrite the code in your DNA immediately. Um, I talked to you about that book, Spontaneous Healing. It's one of the best manuals I think that I've ever put into my hand, and um, he was on to that a long time ago. And if it's there, people don't have to get sick. You take care of yourself. Like
Yeah.
I drink salt water every single day. I take my vitamins. I told you I do dandelion oil every single day. I like sunflower every single day. And it's just one of those things when you do have kids. I still like my junk food, but if you're gonna eat something negative, if you're gonna have something that could possibly be parasitic, then you ought to be taking better care of yourself. Like I'm not saying don't eat pork, but if you eating pork, you better also drink salt water and be eating garlic and take care of your body. You better go running the next 2 days because if I don't, I'm going to be weighed down, and that's why I choose to stay away from some of the heavier meats these days. And I really, I talked to my sister about it, and she really took it on. My sister Melanie, she's a vegan now, and she vegetarian. I don't know if she would really be considered vegan, but she's a vegetarian because
Yeah.
we really don't need to be carnivores turning into meat. But more or less, you can't trust the process in which that meat got to your table.
That's it right there. That's
You
the
know,
issue. That's the reason I want a farm.
and you should have a farm. People should get more in tune to eating deer meat and wild turkey. I harvest deer. That's why I'm grateful to be from Harrisburg, Kentucky. I'm grateful to be country. Like
Yeah.
my dad raised me up redder than any black person I think I've ever met. Well, at least where we're from. I've been to Alabama, I've been to Mississippi, and I can say there's some people that rival with my dad. But my daddy made sure to raise me in a way that if everything else goes ivory, you know how to take care of your family. You can feed your family. You can go fishing. You can raise a garden, and
Yeah.
um, and now just even from everything that I've ever learned, growing a garden is probably the most pronounced thing, I guess, that we're trying to do here in our family because um, there's a rapper. You look this up. It's my favorite song. It's called Red Dye Number Four, Red Number 40, or Red Number 40. It's a white rapper.
I
Great
just
song.
put a drink down the other day because I read the can and it said red 40 and I was like, oh, and I
And
stopped drinking it.
it's really conscious rap, but this man talks about he don't trust the places that he used to buy his groceries and things, and we really can't.
Mm-mm.
And when one realizes that there's a spiritual awakening inside themselves, you'll see that there's spiritual warfare in your food. Like,
Yeah.
and that's where, and that's when like the cards are stacked against us. I mean, in every way possible. Um, the truths have been hidden from us, and uh, we're just now finding out even who we are. And that should tell people more than anything. Like, there's a reason why they're hiding who we are. There's a reason why they're trying to manipulate us, and a lot of people think that it's just a black history. It's not. Um, Empowering the white race does just as much damage to their race as belittling ours does.
Mm-hmm.
It keeps them
How so?
separated. It keeps them separated from their true selves and keeps all of their energy in their lower chakras. If you keep your energy fed in the ego,
Yeah.
they never rise either. And like, people say woke this, woke that, but and I do have very high regards to African American roots to the point of they're your children. I mean, like if you look at the whole world, you can't be mad at your children. You can't be mad at your offspring. Um, how does one get their whole family on one accord? That's the key. It's not one's race. Um, it's not. They're just we're all different mutations in a color scheme, um, and hair texture, but
Mm-hmm.
that all comes from, and it's all annotated. You can get to it in a heartbeat. It's African American black DNA, melanin, like that. You have to have all of those things. If you can't get it from nothing, so
Yeah.
you can't get black from white, but you can get the the mutation to white. So
Mm-hmm.
I think the most important thing is to see that the powers that are keeping us apart know that it takes all of us to transition, and no matter what, their powers are almost out. But what a beautiful time it would be. I mean, like I imagine even in less than 15 years, like Notorious Big will be able to be played and the world will be harmonized. Even. Like if we could get that on it's not far away. You know, everybody would just start singing Big Papa. But I look forward to. I don't look forward to the futuristic heaven because I know what I'm capable of as an individual and what my gifts that have been presented to me can do. What if a tenth of the world's population was on the same target? And then what if there was 50%? And then, like it's like that movie Lucy, where she just stopped time and everything. Like our consciousness would be so great, and we would be on one accord that the lower and all lower energy would fade. Hell, that's what I believe is hell is lower energy. That's what I like in that whatever aspect. And some days hell's every day for some people. And I guess that's where I'm taking Christianity too, is more a meditative state. It's literally rising your energy every moment that you feel it fall or that you feel something beset you or you feel a succubus, an energy person coming to try to get to you, whether it be drama at work or whether it be somebody in your family, whatever it might be. You can have your phone in your hand, like all of those things, even your clothing, try to steal your energy away from you. So when you get to that point where you can protect yourself from any outside dangers, because there are people that use their energy for bad. If you can get inside of yourself and you really raise your consciousness and you pick up your cross daily, literally. You take your cross up daily. And this is where it gets scary as far as Christianity goes. And probably you heard this too. Every time you ever heard uh, narrow is the way, you choose it and narrow is the way.
Mm-hmm.
You heard it preached in churches your whole life.
Yeah. Well, Christianity is not narrow.
No. That's the thing. And so, like, when you step out of it, you're like, oh, shit. Oh, man. Like, so, like, I never challenged my family. Never have. Don't care. I don't care even. But what is narrow about Christianity? You can pick whatever denomination you want. You can pick where data. Week you want to go. You didn't got to go to church. You know, like you can sit on your phone and see like that's not a spiritual walk.
Right. There's a lot of cultural Christians that people that don't even go to church or pray or anything, but they still refer themselves as Christians.
As Christians because of where they grew up, their demographics make them Christian. I mean, it's hard for people to come from not to be a Christian. I mean, everywhere you look, you're going to see a church. I mean, what we got on Main Street? 3 or 4?
Yeah.
So, I mean, so if the kingdom of God is within inside of us, and we're in control of that, like we talked about this the other day. I find myself, and when I did my research, and I told you like the Wiccan Church believed that Jesus Christ was their first high priest. So, like, in one of the biggest things that you find in beliefs in Wiccan and Wicca is you can do anything you want as long as you don't affect anyone else from doing everything that they want, and that you don't mess up your opportunity to do tomorrow what you was doing today. You can do anything you want. There's freedom in it, and that's one of those things that if the world needs to be controlled, that's not something that you should give the people. So that side of history is something that comes from Pan Africa. It didn't come from Israel. It didn't come from where we think the Jews were and Judean. It didn't. These stories really came from Africa, and from Africa to India, then to the Middle East, and then were taken and made into a literal book. That if me and my dad argue, his argument would be this: if you don't take the Holy Bible as the ultimate authority, then we can't have an argument. So me and my dad don't argue because it is a very informative book, but it's not complete. We know that it's been altered. You can go to the Catholic Church, and we know that's in the 1600s even that they've even altered that.
Mm-hmm.
And even in the Bible, Paul said some of these things you take as an allegory, like Abraham and Sarah. You take this as an allegory, meaning a parable too. The same thing that Jesus taught and all these things. So, um, and if you go to any Bible college, I don't care where it is, what denomination you plan on coming out and passion, I guarantee you take numerology.
Yeah.
Probably 3 classes.
Mm-hmm.
of Morology. Why?
Yeah.
Why would you take numerology in a Bible class?
Right.
Because the Bible's riddled with it. Okay, so if the Bible's riddled with numerology, something that I had to have another book to define it with, then why didn't you learn about numerology in Sunday school? All you learned was 7, 6, 6, 6. That's it.
Yeah.
But you really didn't think about 6 plus 6 is 12, plus 6 is 18, 1 and 8 is 9, which is a master number, which is really just us. It's our consciousness. People don't know that. That is your lowest conscious level is you, is man.
Mm-hmm.
Then when what I call the infosphere, it's where all information is gathered. It's where you go to when you dream. When Nikola Tesla was able to get free energy, these ideas and stuff. This is where it lies. It is in the infosphere. When you're like, oh my God, somebody's thinking about me. That's because they sense something in the infosphere.
Mm-hmm.
And it travels just a little bit lower than what our atmosphere is. It's a physical place. This is what the internet, the World Wide Web, is actually designed off of. When one finds meditative states, that's where your highest level of existence lies. And some people are not able to go there in their sleep. Some people are consciously able to go there, learn, and come back to their bodies. Other people are faced with more dark dreams and dark places that they go to, and that's because they live most of their life in their lower astral.
Yeah.
So, and a lot of that is because lack of responsibility, lack of love for oneself. A lot of that.
That's a big part.
Over emphasis on sexuality. And that's one of the things going on right now. Like everybody's fighting for their sexuality. I don't care what you do. If you're thinking about heterosexual, homosexual, if you're thinking about that, you're putting yourself in and only in your lowest level of consciousness.
Yeah.
They're doing that for a reason. Like everything. So people are fighting these battles, trying to get rights for themselves when that's really what the enemy wants you to do.
It takes your mind off of everything else.
Everything else. That's not who you are. It's that you are so much more.
Mm-hmm.
But if they can get you to fight over something that is in your lower, they ain't got to worry about you ever raising up.
Yeah. Yeah.
And it's sad, but that's what we're faced with right now. Is every single thing that could possibly be weaponized is being weaponized against us, and it's being weaponized against us to find ourselves. Finding ourselves is key. It's key. Tearing off this deconstruction of Christianity is the most scariest thing I've probably ever endured. But it is also probably the healthiest that I've ever endured. My biggest fear, and it's kind of joking, but it's really not, because my biggest fear is all right, boom, the rapture happened. We're all seeing Jesus, and then I automatically see everybody just keep going up. Bye. But I mean, really, if you're not honest with your own beliefs, or even if you're not willing to challenge your beliefs, if there is reincarnation, I'm pretty sure you get stuck.
Mm-hmm.
that scares me more than hell does. You know,
Yeah.
like having to come back because I didn't live me.
Yeah.
That's scary. That I think that's more than that is to me that is hell. Is afraid to be who you are and having to go back and do it all over
I agree with you. I agree with you wholeheartedly. I do. I haven't had any opportunity to have these type of conversations on this channel because, like I told you the other day, the majority of the people that I talk to are atheists, and they don't really. And I always make it plain, like, hey, I'm not an atheist. I believe in a creator, and I'm a spiritual person. But I
again.
don't have those. I don't have those conversations with them because you get anything like that with them. Most atheists are just gonna shut down. They're not. They don't want to hear it.
And see, I say a lot more to those to the atheists that like, cause I really just say like all or us.
Yeah.
I don't care to say God, but when I'm talking to an atheist, I just like to be an antagonist and just like God is really being good to me. Just because it just, but like any given day, I mean, I'll forget about myself. I'll forget about God, and so like I'm just existing in that moment. Like the world is there's too much mathematics in the world for there not to be a creator. Like there's too much. Um, the Fibonacci sequence is
Hmm.
represented throughout the whole entire nature, um,
Hmm.
and I really don't care if there's a creator. I don't live my life as if like I need to get there. Like no, in my heart,
Right.
I know that if I was to do this, I would have been prettier or something. You know what I'm saying? Like I would have done better. But I know that like there is a very intelligent consciousness that puts this together.
Hmm.
Whether it, and
Right.
it is us, I mean, it really is us. And, like if there was sin, if there like, and I feel that the only sin would have ever been was when God decided to explore Himself. I mean, the only thing when if you go back and look at my Facebook page, I did like these two pictures, what we could be
Hmm.
and what we actually are. So when God separated Himself, He said, hmm, "Let's go see what I can do." That was the only thing. Whenever He wasn't complete in Himself, for whatever reason, He wanted to get worshipped, and all of that became a side note of that. So like
Hmm.
that's still allegorical to me. So
Right.
like I look at that into myself because we're made in His image, right? Okay, so hmm, everything that I've ever tried to chase after, everything that I've went after, I've found it up majorly. Like um, it's one of those things we can't control anything. Even the air inside of my hand, I don't have any kind of control of the molecular value of what's in my hand, and it's gone. So I don't. The control aspect of it is to let go um, of, of everything that holds me back, everything that makes me want to not be right here, right now. I had to share that. Like a lot of times, that was being a Yates. Like being a Yates in Harrisburg, especially coming up, was something that I didn't regret it, but that was hard.
Yeah.
Um, Did that, and then not only to shed it, but then to pick it back up and to say what I'm doing is just as important,
Yeah.
just as
That's right.
important.
That's right.
Um, and it's crazy because when you say things like that, um, I had a guy call me yesterday. Kid I taught in Sunday school. He's drunk, and he's like, "My mom wanted to talk to me. Um, Call her. She really don't want to hear what I got to say."
Hmm.
And I had to look at him and say, "Man, like you're a man now, but you're allowing it to affect who you are, in
Yeah.
the lowest way." I told him, I said, "You have to shed that." So like I'm grateful that me and my dad can see eye to eye on our differences.
Yeah.
Uh,
Good.
I really enjoy that. But to, to, to deny God for me, and this is just talking to an atheist, would simply be saying you're denying yourself and everything that you are. And I think that it's sad, that people, everybody's turned off because of Christianity. Like, it's big. And I think it was Gandhi that said, I would love to be a Christian except for the Christians. I love Christianity except for the Christians. And I'll be a Christian if you can show me someone who actually follows the Christian values.
Yeah.
It's 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 not there. It's sad, but there's definitely spiritual moments. Don't get me wrong, but there's very few people that have ever walked into any denomination that I've been a part of, or even known anybody to go into, that is actually spiritually walking. Like even pastors, yeah, even pastors. Like it's hard. Like I don't even know what it means to just I went up front like because everybody that I know that go to church ain't living what the pastor they and they're saying amen, but they're really not. What are you doing?
Right.
Like what are and so there's a false sense of security, I believe, in the church, and even in not looking into yourself. Like I've really, and I've thought this my whole life. Like if my family can't view themselves as God,
Yeah.
I'm afraid that they're going to be back here.
Oh,
They'd be
absolutely.
afraid that I'm going
Absolutely.
to hell, though. You know what I'm saying? So like
Right.
we could do it.
Yeah.
They would be afraid I'm going to hell, but I'm afraid that like you, you chose to come here for a reason. So someone else is stealing your power while you're here. So someone is like you're going to have to reclaim it somehow, form, or fashion. And sometimes too, the outcast. If you feel like you're different, you're the chosen one, and that's okay. It's supposed to be lonely. You don't have to feel weird. Like I'm curious to hear, like, how's it feel? Like, how long has it been for you, like, to really step away from Christianity?
Well, it's been going on since 2021. I've been going through a process since 2021, but I actually went through a Hebrew Israelite phase before I got to where I am right now, and it just come from just questioning the Bible, and I just kind of got stuck in the Old Testament and kind of in my mind, I was able to disprove. I felt like I could disprove the New Testament. So I got stuck in the Old Testament. But then the more and more studying and digging and learning that I did, then I kind of discounted that as well. And so it more or less came to, I'd say last year. So from 2021, well, I didn't do the Hebrew thing very long. Um, I'd say that was in 2022. And that didn't last very long, but by 20, this is 20, so by 2023, I really was just kind of to the point of more of spiritual and believing in, like more of a universal consciousness, whatnot, since probably 2023. And then, I started meditating and I got into crystals. I've got crystals in my store. I sell crystals in my store. And
I'm gonna come by. Like I need to come by there. Like ASAP.
yeah, yeah. So
You gonna do the shop
it's
tomorrow?
been no. Tomorrow I'm going to tomorrow evening I'm going to the Mercer Chamber Awards tomorrow evening. So my day will consist of trying to get ready for that. I've got to pick my husband's suit up and damn boy the cleaners and everything. So my day will pretty much be trying to get myself together to get ready for that. But if you wanted to come through on Saturday, I could meet up with you. You tell me what time you want to come through, and we could meet up there. But but yeah, I kind of got sick, I guess, in 2023, and
Mm.
then that kind of I don't, and then I kind of lost. Not saying I lost it, but like like I was really into like Reiki healing and crystals and like I was meditating like all the time. Like couldn't wait to meditate. Like
Do you
whenever
have
my
blue
husband
kyanite
was
at the shop?
traveling, huh?
Do you have blue kyanite at the shop?
I don't. I don't have it.
Okay, so blue kyanite. There's only two
Okay.
minerals known to mankind. Two that can absorb negative energy yet cannot disperse it, and blue kyanite is one of
Okay. I'll have to look into that.
them.
Definitely look into that.
And blue
But yeah,
kyanite, it'll be like a raw material. Get the whitish blue raw,
yeah.
get raw, but it works. Like it's great.
Okay. I'm definitely gonna
Like
be
I
looking for that.
said, like it's great that you're here because, like, I'm telling you, I've been weird. Like I can show you, I've got crystals and rocks and stuff like back here. All kind
Yeah.
like it's just it feels more comfortable now. You know, what I mean, people. I've been weird by myself a long time, is what I felt like.
Yeah.
And we talked about this. It took a lot, like even the drug usage, like in my life, like I would be considered a psychonaut because of all of the psychedelics of me trying to make sense of gifts that I was presented with in my life, and like to actually connect with, and it's I'm talking about ayahuasca, DMT, peyote,
Hmm.
anything and everything that a person could possibly get their hands on. I've done it and readily enjoyed it because
I've never had those opportunities, but I definitely want them.
it's you should he's dead and gone now, but do you remember Gatewood Galbraith?
Yeah.
Okay, so he was an alcoholic. I hooked him up with a place in Mexico where he went for ibogaine treatment. Now, iboga, if
Hmm.
you have never heard of this one, this is from Africa. Iboga will take you out of addiction within the first 7 hours.
Right.
I've never taken it because it's one of those things like you will see everything that you ever. I've got people that's the one thing that I wouldn't do because my buddy was addicted to heroin, and I got him some. This is on one of those websites back in the day that you could get on and pay with bitcoins and stuff. I was on one of them. I got him some, got him off of drugs, but like it looked like he was demon possessed. But it came out of him within 6 hours, and he said he had the craziest trip. That's the one thing that I wouldn't do was that one because it's. Um, I say it's more powerful than anything that I. But I've done ayahuasca to where I was gone off for like um, 8.5 hours. It's probably my longest trip that I've ever went on, and
Hmm.
um, it takes days to prepare your body. You know, what I'm saying to actually go through that. There's
Yeah.
because you're not in this conscious body.
Right.
Um, you would walk off a cliff if somebody wasn't there guiding you.
Yeah.
It's you have to practice breathing. It it, it, it see like in your mind, your brain tricks you into thinking that what you're seeing is real, but actually you're seeing the negative image in color of what you actually look like. So the image is actually inverted. So when you take like EMT, before you go off, if you open your eyes, you'll see people for who they truly are, and you can see their energy forces, and not just it's not the physical body, and it's one of the realest things that a person should do. It should be something that you experience at death. Um,
Hmm.
if you've ever seen a Christian on their deathbed asking for help, it's because of what they're experiencing in that moment, because your body has an MAOI that keeps you from seeing in real life. So you're able to see the way we see physically now because of this chemical in your brain that stops this DMT from releasing and being part of the all.
Hmm.
So when you actually ingest DMT, you can smoke it and it only lasts about 7 minutes or so. But when you do that, it explodes any kind of calcification on your pineal gland. It's gone. I mean, it's erased. Um, it is the most charging feeling that you've ever felt in your life. When you cross over and through the it's a door to the most beautiful window of I don't even know what I just know words for what, but there's definitely a portal that goes into a different world. There's cool stuff. I mean, before you get to this door, there's cool stuff everywhere. Trust me. Like, I mean, there's demons and everything, but not everybody goes here. And I went there. I'll go there every time.
Yeah.
And you can actually go there with meditation. Like, and I'm not even full blown on ayahuasca tripping with pure just meditation. But when you go through this door, you know you're God. There's no advancements about it. Like I'm about to cry. The entities of this world disappear.
Yeah.
Like everything that you've ever worried about. And if you could have the most perfect feeling, it's there. And it's really like
Yeah.
that's what's
Yeah.
crazy.
I wanna try it. I do. The ayahuasca and uh
It's that you will it's hard like a man could be in a KKK outfit right now. He could be burning a cross in my front yard. And if you've ever felt that feeling of what I'm talking about, you won't hate that person because you know it's you.
yeah.
Every time you ever got over on anybody was you. Anytime anybody ever hurt you,
Hmm.
it's you. Anytime, it was always you. And like, I mean, I've talked to what I would consider the all and they would say that all of it matters and none of it matters. So yes, you're that powerful and that smart. You're that powerful and you're that smart. None of this matters and all of it does.
Yeah.
And then like that picture on Facebook that AI did, there's this compartmentalization of God. And that's when the trip starts to come down. So like if it in acid, I go there on acid, but DMT, ayahuasca, mushrooms, even when I go to this, and I call it like a business suite. When I go to this business suite, it's worse than what that picture on my Facebook page is. It has feelings and emotions, and like even though I can see Diane, that's her God right there. That's her all taken care. But like I can't feel that connection, and that's when I know that my brain is putting that MAOI back into myself. That's when I go to that compartmental God, and here I come back to Earth. And this is like, yes, we are that smart. We are that important. This experience, everything that you've ever went through, has happened exactly the way that it was supposed to be experienced.
Yeah.
Like that's hard. It's a hard pill to swallow. It's a hard pill to swallow.
Hmm. Hmm.
But so when I say that, when I'm coming back from those trips, it's that's why I say the only sin that there was when God explored Himself. It's not just that's not just some I'm throwing it out aimlessly. I'm saying from the bottom of my soul. That's actually can you see that tattoo there? The Iron Horse.
And I. Hmm.
So that
Yeah.
mark here was the first exploration, sacred geometry.
Hmm.
That was the first movement of God. He couldn't even see his stuff. That's why you see the eyebrow first. Um, well, let's see what we can do. That's um, that's why that's there. My ace up my sleeve. That's the creation story.
Mhm.
Um, let's see what we can do. And he's always got the trump card. We always had a trump card. If it was actually a sex, it would definitely be a female.
Yeah.
It has to be. Actually, I mean, physically, God would have to be a female if it took a body. But then that's where that tattoo comes from, which is actually um, I know robberess, but it's also from the book of
Oh,
Never
the
Ending
snake that
Story.
eats itself.
Yep. So
Yeah.
this was actually one from Never Ending Story. It had double.
Okay.
So you have Christ and Satan,
Mhm.
all is one.
Mhm.
Every tattoo on my body other than my kids' names are all sermons. All sermons that I can get a person to themselves if they ask me about my tattoos. All of them are. Um, I can take any person and help have them find God inside themselves. I don't care who they are, and I would challenge that atheist to that I would find the spiritual them inside of themselves because all they got to do if they ask about my tattoos, it means that they're trying to get on my path,
Yeah.
and that's why I got them on. Every last one of them's a sermon. This one right there is actually it is a sermon. That's Paul said he got shipwrecked 3 times. He got beaten with 2 score stripes, save one. It's 39 stripes. That was my football number. I've learned that. Almost cursed. If you're almost cursed, that means you blessed still. It ain't get as bad as it could have.
Yeah.
And and that's like every single thing. Um, I always say, like, you have to perceive Jesus to be real, no matter what. Like if he lived this, had blood running through his body, you still didn't get to meet him. It's a perception. If he did or didn't, it doesn't matter. But nobody in this world would like me without Jesus. Period.
The only issue I have um where Jesus is concerned is the Christian view of Jesus. And
Yeah, but that don't have to be your view of Jesus anymore.
right.
And it's not the
It's
view of Jesus. So don't take that old mindset on your new way of thinking.
yeah.
But
Yeah.
because of you can't take away Christ out of your life. You live too long with him. He wouldn't want you to do that.
Mm.
You just have to look at it like this. I'm straight. I'm straight. We was tricked.
Yeah.
We thought we was doing the right thing, but really, he said, "Seek first ye the kingdom of heaven." But the kingdom of heaven is inside of yourself. Nobody ever said it. Hey, you got to look at you have to really you have to conquer yourself. That's all Christ really ever said.
Yeah. Yeah.
All
I
the
actually
rest
have
of
a
it
book about
could
it.
say. All the rest of that shit the pastor said. Excuse me. All the rest of that the pastor said.
Yeah.
Everything
I
else
actually
try to make you get into a pigeonhole by using God, but that really ain't what that was, man.
yeah.
So like the perception that I made up in my life, like I don't love without Jesus. What does that mean? Was there a man that walked up? No, don't care. But that's what made me love you was the fact of at first it was me getting to heaven. No, it's not me getting to heaven. It's me not having to come back to earth long. Really, I thought, oh, I got to come back here. I'm good because with psychedelics, I've experienced heaven. Like I mean, it is an experience. Like, and it's not like I mean, the last time I was on DMT was oh wow, I'll say 3 years ago.
Hmm.
The last time I did acid was probably about 18 months ago. That's a reset button for me. Whenever I feel like I'm too Facebooked or too government or
Yeah.
too factory, I will hit that reset button, and like it will take you out of yourself, and it just when you hear acid, black people though they run. Give me a
Yeah.
well, I'm gonna eat a whole tin strip in front of your face because it will take you on a spiritual journey. I had buddies that used to take acid from America and take it to India because over here you can get acid for $500 a sheet. Over there it goes for $10,000 because the experience you had from eating it is what they were doing in their chants.
Yeah.
So what they're trying to get in their chants, you eat that, you start chanting, whole different ballgame, whole different spiritual experience. So everybody think like these kids are out here eating acid, they're just tripping balls. That's really not what's going on. These kids are really expanding consciousness
Wow.
in a major way. That's what like the hippie movement was all about. They weren't out there really partying. It was because they were experiencing these deities through LSD that people really now there's a book called People that's Scripture means I've known and loved. Pikaf.
Mhm.
It's a book. It's a love story on how these two husband and wife they experience psychedelics and they can tell you about their journey. And it tells about all the chemical compounds and but like
Yeah.
before I ever read anything about Ganesh,
Oh shoot. Hold on. Today is Thursday. I don't even know why that alarm is on. I have to pick up a lady in the evenings, but well, it used to be Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, but now it's Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday. I gotta turn that alarm off, so I have to pick her up on Thursday.
so before I ever met Ganesh or read anything, right?
Mhm.
I was eating acid, and I didn't find out till the next day. There's actually an LSD called Ganesha that when you eat it, Ganesha, this god, this Indian god, this Buddhist god, comes out. And you don't know if it's a man or a woman or what. I mean, like it just the long, beautiful hair. There's definitely a purple one, you know what I'm saying, like on the scale. Non-binary is what I would definitely consider Ganesh, but beautiful being. But we was in a stand, 1965, made out of sand now. El Dorado, Cadillac El Dorado, riding around, and the whole world was sand. And it looked over at me and said, "What's keeping you from yourself?
Mhm.
Anything that's blocking you, I'll move it out of the way right now." So like I'm seeing this guy driving me around in the sand Cadillac Eldorado, driving me around, and I just started naming. I said Christianity, my dad, and just started naming off all these things. And like, so then when I come back to myself the next day, I grab my phone. I'm in Terrapin Hill. Grab my phone and start looking up like deity with elephant nose and all of this, and it's like Ganesha, God to remove all blockages. And I was like, ain't no way. Ain't no way.
Mhm.
So like
Mhm.
there was never any
Are you saying you saying Ganesh like with a G?
yeah,
Like
G A
okay,
N
because
E
I always
S
pronounce
H
it Ganesh. Yeah,
Ganesh,
Ganesh.
Ganesh or Ganesh, yeah. Well,
Yeah,
because female or male. But yeah.
yeah,
Um
yeah,
so I'm sitting there and so like never had any experience, no internet, no nothing with none of this until this moment.
yeah.
I look it up and said, God did removes all blockages. So LSD took me to a place where there was a deity. I seen the nose, I seen it, was riding in the Cadillac with it. And it literally talked to me and said, I'll remove all your blockages. It taught me what it was before I knew what it was.
Yeah.
That's that's not happenstance.
Hmm.
You know, like um, yeah, I've questioned was that Satan? Oh my God, was that Satan? Um, but my Christian upbringing said, try the spirit by the spirit. That was I told you how I had a conversation with my dad. Like I had this conversation with my dad after this blockage was moved from this God.
Mm-hmm.
He told him, I hate my dad. My dad looked at me like, man, that ain't got nothing to do with me. It ain't my fault you held it for 26 years.
Yeah.
And like, if I would have went there, like, I don't know. But I'm definitely told, if I didn't have that trip, would that blockage have been removed when I had this conversation with my dad? Or would it have been a fight? Would it have been, I don't know. But like,
Yeah.
that is why I know that life is so important. Like, and it's so much more. I'm talking, we need to scratch the surface of what is actually out there,
Yeah.
who we actually are.
Yeah.
Um, and that's what's that's what's exciting about raising consciousness for me.
Yeah. I've wasted a lot of years in my life. I wasted years in addiction, years being married, in an abusive, controlling marriage, my first husband, and just years of just feeling like I couldn't be myself and just being afraid to be myself and worrying about people judging me and being a people pleaser. And
Right.
so, it's kind of like I said, I started this journey a few years ago, but when I turned 50 last year, that's when it was really like, oh, okay, I'm 50 years old. I might have more years behind me than I have in front of me. I'm going to be myself and I'm going to say what I'm going to say. I'm going to be who I want to be. And whoever don't like it can just get out my way.
But see, and I've been fighting the same struggle though for years and years, longer than you. Yet you give a
Yeah.
platform to actually talk about this thing. You know, so like that's why I say you do have to promote yourself because you do have a great following. And not only do you have a great following, but your energy and your reputation precedes itself. So you don't know what little kid is like us right now.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So like that when my uncle Kurt died, my granny's brother, when he died, like I really lost everybody in my family that I was connected to.
Um,
You know, so like that was like the one person that I could be crazy with. I'm talking,
yeah.
it make no difference. Like he was never gonna judge me nor tell nobody. I could do say
Mhm.
whatever he wanted to. It make no difference. I
Mhm.
want to shoot a gun in the air, I shoot a gun in the air, and he just laugh right there along with me. So when he went, like I didn't have nobody to connect with. So like, you know, just with Shantae and us talking and me and you talking, and like you tell like when I see you, you know what I'm saying, like you was more yourself now than you was when I was on probation and I was having to come and see y'all at the council.
Oh yeah. Oh, because I was totally not myself back then.
Yeah, and
I
that's
mean, I
what
was still full blown Christian back then.
and
Yeah.
that's there ain't nothing wrong with being Christian, but it is if you're not yourself.
I wasn't myself at all.
And that's the thing. Like you think about though, if you were in tune as you are now in a place like that,
Yeah. I can help a lot more people.
you see, like
Yeah.
um,
Because I was just trying to give them Jesus. I wasn't trying to teach them who they really are. I was
yeah,
just trying to give them Jesus. That because it was the counseling service was we was a Christ centered organization.
mhm,
So that's what it was all about, and that's what I talked about. I left an organization to come there specifically because it was a Christ centered organization,
right.
and that's all I had for people was Christ, and I didn't even know who I was, and I'm trying to help other
See that
people be
seed
better.
though that you put over your life though, the majority of your life now. Like you was trying to give them something when you had so much more to offer.
Yeah,
Like even just an avenue, a platform, or
yeah,
you know, holistic medicine for people.
yeah,
Like even if don't nobody come and support you, the fact that you are that person that that's given the avenue,
hmm
like it's like I said, when there's a spiritual awakening, there's also going to be a health awakening. There has to be.
yeah.
Those are inseparable graces, and I seen the the holistic stuff that you were doing. I didn't know though that you had ever um, stepped away from church. And
And a lot of people don't. 'Cause like I said, I don't put it on Facebook, so
and then
a lot of
it's
people don't.
but it's there's nothing wrong with it. We need to have a forum. We need a forum. We don't need to have the old heads like it was at the gala. We don't need that. We need a forum because
I tried that. I created this Facebook page, this Facebook group. I think did I tell you that? and
Mhm.
and I had it set up. It was supposed to be private, and nobody was supposed to be able to get in without answering these questions
Right.
and agreeing to the rules. And then I wake up the next morning, and there were all these Christians in this group, and nobody had answered the questions, and nobody really knew what this was. And I deleted it because and it wasn't because I was afraid of them knowing who I was. It was because I talk to people who are already questioning. I'm not out here trying to convert nobody or deconvert anybody. Like it was more or less a thing of y'all don't want to see this. This ain't what you want.
It's not what
Get
you
out of here.
want. But I mean, at what point though? See, this is what I don't know. At what point do we lose the fear of rattling their feathers? And I don't really believe in him,
Right.
but I am afraid if people don't step into themselves that something wild happens. Like I don't know. So like
Yeah. From
it's
the people who have died, they
scary
say
not
that
to
there's
tell my family about this. They're like, hey, Melanie might be the only one out of all of them. She'd be the only one out of all of them that be like, all right, baby, I get it, but like mom and them would just laugh like this boy's crazy or something. Think I'm going to hell. Nikita, she would be like, I can't believe you're doing this to mom and daddy. But like, really, like, I struggle with that. Like, I even want to tell like people like, don't talk to me if you're a Christian. Like, really, it's probably not a good thing. Like, I'm probably going to give you some advice that's going to make you do something that's going to make you feel empowered or something in there. It's going to make you feel like you're Satan. Like, don't talk to me.
yeah.
Like, I tell people that. Like, don't listen to me. Like, that's
Yeah.
what say some stuff that if you're
Yeah.
not if you and I have a lot of class, even my Bible classes where I've had teachers say, look, if you're not rooted in your faith like you should be, then my class is going to mess you up. And I'm that way with people because like
Yeah.
I'm just gonna baby a Christian no more. If you've been in church as long as I was in church, we've been in church together. But I'm gonna give you some meat.
Yeah.
I'm gonna give you some meat. Um,
Yeah.
and that's what I think that I like the fact of us, you know what I'm saying, like linking up with this and having people that we can. But I wouldn't do nothing back on Facebook. We need to have like a live sit down forum of just deconstructing Christianity.
Yeah. Absolutely. Let's do it.
It's like
I already
everything.
imagined like you and Shantae and like Jason and just us around here and
That's
just yeah, just all of us just on here together, just having a conversation. I would
because
love
that's what I mean. We need to do that ASAP, really, because um, like you can even tell, like even at the Yates family reunion, like you got the church goers and the not church goers, and like people are weird, like what y'all hiding from family and stuff for, like, but you have the same people like you want to keep tradition going. I get that.
that.
I get tradition. Like that was all we had as black people coming out of slavery, or what we thought we was coming out of slavery in that time. The age. I don't really buy into all of that. I really don't buy into all that. Not completely. Like it's hard to think that one couple white people can keep 15 to 50 black people on the farm. I'm just saying, like it. We would have done kid. Come on, man. I don't understand. But maybe so. Maybe that whip was so bad that nobody gonna get punched. We go, man. It just wouldn't happen today. I just
Yeah.
so that, I don't buy into that full fledged slavery thing in the manner that they put it out there. Um, but that fear that we have from breaking apart, it gotta go.
Mm-hmm.
Like Michael, Psych Mike, he a Muslim. Man, your hands sweat too much to be a Muslim. Why I tell him. That's why I tell him that. Anyway, man, come on,
I didn't know he was Muslim.
yeah, I mean, like, more power to you, but and I told Sid this. I was like, man, Sid, like, I get that you go to church and then, like, it's your church and stuff, but like, bro, we grew up together, and like, I know that you've been the places that I've been. I know that you should have rose up a little bit, man, from that. Like, like some people wild out and they don't go to church for um, drugs or alcohol or whatever, girls, whatever it is. But like me, I don't. Oh, because my conscience raised.
Mhm. But many people think, and I've heard it said, that if they're not in church, if they're not a Christian, if they're not believing, then they don't feel that that they're able to not be a bad person. Like people really believe that that's the
Well,
only thing that's
you
keeping
like
me
me.
from
If
being
you're
a
not
bad
good
person.
anyway, you're like you're not a good person if you gotta go to church to be good.
Right. But and I don't think that that is true. That's what they think. They believe that's what it is. They just think that this is the only way. And then a lot of times, just people that have been through some things, have gone through some things, and then they got saved and they turned their lives around. So they think that if I let this go, I'm going to go back to being that person, and I don't want to go back. And it's like I didn't go back. I didn't go back to look. I was using drugs
Part
and
of that
selling dope
programming,
while
though,
I was
that's
in the
part of
church.
that programming of us not being ourselves.
Yeah,
Like everything of us not being ourselves. I mean, from schooling all the way to every kind of job, every drug where I have to, like, not being yourself is really what does all of that. If
yeah,
somebody, all right, Philip, you're really great at this, you're really great at that, we're only going to focus on those things in your life. I would have never been bad at anything. I was trying to fit myself into a shoe. So coming from Harrisburg, Kentucky, as a black person, if you did get to go to college, if you got to go to a bigger city, then you went from a country black person to going to a city to where you really feel displaced around black people because you ain't nothing like any of the city people that you have been around. So, like,
yeah,
who do you go to? I ain't like the white people from my hometown. I'm not like the black people from the city. Then where is this displacement from? If I'm not like my family that's Christian, then like you have this person, this being who is way more displaced than any Jewish person from Israel ever thought about being pre 1942.
yeah.
Like, and it's just it's I don't know what Jason believes, but most of my family, I see it like this. I see
So you and Jason don't talk? Y'all
uh,
never had these kind of conversations?
we have, but the last time was right before I got arrested in 2015. Like we used to be close, like just living. Like I go up seeing him at 2, 3 times. That was I was at his house. I was at his house when I left his house. I got arrested. I went from Jason's house to Kings Mountain. I left Kings Mountain about 1 o'clock in the morning. Going back to Harrisburg, got arrested.
Wow.
So, but it's not that we don't talk. We got
Y'all ain't had the
family.
opportunity to sit and talk like this.
No, not like this. No, that's
Yeah,
what
I'm surprised because I really initially I wanted like it to be the three of us all together.
I'm.
Because yeah, he and I have already talked about doing this too. It's just schedules
That'd be
and it
great.
ain't worked out.
I like to
Yeah.
come in not knowing nothing. I like to come in blind with him too, not knowing that, and it just to see where he's at because no, but like he's not ever going to get Jason. Jason probably influenced my life more than any other person.
Hmm.
Like Roger Brown, Richard Brown, and Jason Jones are my biggest influences as far as my cousins go because
They was a big cousin.
they was three of the coolest cousins too. Like they was cool as cat. Well, man, like
Yeah.
um, I'll say it like this: he brought me up better than that, and I'm probably really just walking right behind his shoes.
Hmm.
That's what I'm saying. Like real talk. Like I'm not gonna say because I was struggling. No, he rose me up right. Like same way we trying to tell you, but they all look at all of them as big brothers and cousins. So like
Yeah.
for them, they would stay away from it because they just knew that I was, you know what I'm saying, my daddy. You know what I'm saying, and this. But like Jason, I mean, he took care of me. Like, I mean, he's I mean, that was my big cousin, man. Like
Hmm.
shit, I think about all the time. He didn't really like just the stories and the things he tell me, man, to keep because like making sure that I didn't mess up my daddy's last name was big to Jason.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? Like
That's
so
good. That's beautiful.
it is. So like I
Yeah.
always had like even to these forward, like I remember he punched me in my jaw one time. When I was selling drugs, and he come up. I think anybody can see me. Whoever took everything I had in my pocket, gave me $500.
Dang. Ah,
Took everything. I didn't even have about $70, $80 worth of nothing on me. Took everything
he just
I had. gave me money.
He doesn't want you out
Never
there.
did no dirty like that.
He doesn't want you out there on the block like that.
Nothing like that. It's like I had people looking after me. You know what I'm saying? Like people that other people call crazy and woo. That was my OG. That was who looked out for me. And like
Yeah.
they looked out for my dad. You know what I'm saying? Like he meant a lot. So like to step away from somebody that meant a lot to this community, even people that ain't in the church, he meant a lot too. That means that like it's real stressful, but it means that it's also very necessary.
Mm-hmm.
You know, so like it probably would shock Jason. I don't know if anything would shock Jason coming from me, but it would be it'd be different, bro, because he probably never heard some of these things. Like, you know, if you take his nephew Zach's been there. Like me and Zach have did DMT together several times. And you're talking about reading thoughts. If you want to hear some crazy stories about psychedelics and me, add Zach some stories. He'll show you.
Get Zach out here.
He'll show you some good. But hey, look, these kids is ready to come out of here. I'm gonna have to hop up off of here.
Okay. Well, I've enjoyed this very much.
I think we should do it more often for real. But I would love to get my whole family on here.
Shoot me a list.
I could probably find something if you want to go to a different round too. I'm just saying. It is everybody should experience it, because if you don't, I promise, like everybody I ever see die, they're afraid of this. Like, help me, help me, help me.
Yeah.
That stuff right there is because like you have to control breathing so that you don't bring in stress. And like I used to flip out, like, and sometimes it'll get so intense, man. I'll take off running, you know, so like crying, whatever. Like you'll forget to breathe even. You'll learn more in 5 minutes than you have in 50 years, and there won't be words.
Mm-hmm.
There ain't English. There's no point for it. Like it's like, oh, like you're just like, oh, duh, but ain't nobody saying nothing to you. Really. And it's so amazing. Like me and Zach, well, I remember it was like 2014. It was the supermoon, one of the biggest supermoons we had in September. It was my birthday party. We was having it out at Carrington's house, and we sit there, and the moon was big. And me and Zach flew to the moon together, and like we're looking at each other like, man, we really on the moon. And then we went into a different realm. I'm just like, wait a second, bro. Like we was together, but we was still sitting on this big old swing. Like we went nowhere, but we was literally was. And then we come back, and I would say one word, and he would say another word. We were saying one sentence, but we were saying it simultaneously. Like, hey, you will, you. It was the most crazy thing that you've ever seen. Like people ain't supposed to go to the same place when they're tripping. Like we was going to the same place and everything when we were tripping. Like it was crazy. And that's when you know.
When is your birthday? September what?
9th.
9th. Okay.
Yeah, what's it got to down too?
I'm September 2.
Are you? What day?
Yeah, I'm the 26th. September 26th.
Are you a Libra?
Yes, I'm a Libra. I'm the epitome of a Libra.
Yeah, absolutely. My folks did.
Okay, well, good talking to you. And yeah, this was fun. You gone? Oh, I think he's gone. Well, that was fun. I didn't know what to expect. Phil is, he's someone in my town, obviously, as you can hear. He's younger than me, so we didn't grow up together, and I grew up in a different town anyway, but I am from Harrodsburg, and it was really nice being able to talk with him, and surprising to hear a lot of the things that he had to say. But I really enjoyed it. Most of these conversations I have on this channel are with atheists, and I enjoy talking to atheists very much because I share a lot of the same thoughts and beliefs that atheists have, a lot of it. But I do consider myself to be spiritual, and I do enjoy meditation and I do like my crystals and, um, you know, but when it comes to Bible conversations, I really enjoy talking with atheists. And I really don't feel like I need to label myself as anything. I don't feel like I have to do that. I just know that um, the main focus of where I am today, and this could shift or change at any time, but where I am today, who I am today, I do not believe in the God of the Christian Bible, and but I am spiritual. I do believe in a creator. I did not create myself, and I'm just living life on my own terms, enjoying life without fear of hell and without fear of punishment from a sky daddy that's looking down on me and judging everything that I say and everything I do. It's so freeing to be away from all that. It's so freeing just to live my life and just to be myself. And myself is not a bad person. Myself is not out here trying to do horrible, wrong, bad things just because I don't have a fear of hell or divine punishment. I can still live a good life. I don't have to keep saying this. I've said this many times in my shorts that I've made in the past that I still enjoy helping people. I love people. Um, you know, not being a Christian has allowed me to love people even better and even more because I don't have these hangups about people who are not Christian or people of a different sexuality or people that are living in sin. I don't have those hangups anymore. So that has made me to be able to love people better and to love people more without judgment and without thinking that I have to change them. You know, you can just allow people to be who they are. And it doesn't have to be a thing of having to preach to people or try to make people see your point of view. This channel is for people who are questioning, people who have thoughts about walking away from Christianity or leaving the church, or people who have been hurt by religion. That's who this channel is for. And I hope that there's something that was said tonight, something that's said in any of my other videos that is helpful and that allows someone to feel like that they're not alone and that they're not crazy and that it's okay for them to be themselves and just to love themselves. I love myself more than I ever have. I've been through a lot in my life, drug addiction and prison and losing my kids, getting my kids back, and just growing up feeling unloved and being a people pleaser just because felt like I needed love from other people. And to finally be here now after 50 years, it's so freeing. It's so freeing. And I just love it here. I do. And regardless of the people around me that may, not understand where I am, who I am and what I'm believing now, people that are close to me, it's still okay. Yes, it would be great and wonderful if everybody that's close to me, we could all be on one accord and walk on the same path. But it's okay that we're not. It's okay because it's still all love. It's still all love. I still love myself and I'm still growing. I'm still learning and I'm still uh, studying and looking at different viewpoints. And where I am today may not be where I am next week or next month or next year, but it's okay. That's the whole point. It's okay. You know, what if I don't do believe something else next year or next week or next month? Why does it matter? It doesn't. That's the whole point of this. And I just hope you just will keep watching and just go out there and reclaim your life. It's beautiful. Life is beautiful. I love this conversation tonight was just awesome. I loved it. It was wonderful. Thank y'all for watching this. Bye.